Is Halo Infinite worth playing in 2024? That is why you clicked the video, but let me just say before I get into the meat and potatoes of the subject, I will specifically be talking about the multiplayer, aka the free-to-play stuff today. If you want me to talk about the campaign, I actually have a video about it, so I will add a link below this video's description. This video is going to be geared towards people who may want to give Halo Infinite another shot since the game is almost 3 years old, and of course to any brand new players too, since the game is free to play, so barrier to entry is non-existent. So I'm going to separate this video into two parts, and those two parts will be strengths and weaknesses, because that will be the easiest way to organize the video. So before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe because I want bigger numbers, and you guys get to listen to someone that's always right, so it's a win-win for everyone. Now let's get into the strengths Halo Infinite offers in 2024. The biggest strength Halo Infinite has is the variety of choices you have for game modes that you can play. If you like social modes like me, then you have 12v12, 8v8, 4v4, 8-man free-for-all, 2v2, and all these lobby sizes have a variety of modes, maps, and objectives for you to try. So you will never be bored from a lack of game mode variety. Halo Infinite also has something very unique that they introduced in Halo MCC. It is called the Match Composer, and what makes it great is the fact that you can tailor your Halo experience the way you want. So someone like me who hates all objective game modes can avoid playing an atrocious game mode like Oddball, Capture the Flag, or King of the Hill. It also helps other Halo players keep their sanity because they will never have to deal with a world eater like me on their team. Now, if you are not like me and you enjoy to sweat more and prefer a ranked experience, then you have ranked doubles, ranked slayer, ranked arena, and ranked SWAT as offerings in Halo Infinite. So even for that category of gamer, you have some good choices to pick from. Now, I do have some gripes with the ranked experience that I've talked about ad nauseum in previous videos, so I'm not going to bring it up today. The next strength Halo Infinite has is the Spartan customization. Funny enough. Now that 343 has made helmets, shoulder pieces, visors, armor coatings, and weapon coatings cross-core, there is a lot of variety of choices to mix and match. I have bought a few bundles in these last 3 years of playing, but I'm not a heavy spender, so I've mainly stayed customizing my Spartan with the battle passes 343 has offered. And if you unlock all of them, which is really easy to do, especially if you play normal firefight, then you will have a lot of options to choose from. Now, I do have some issues with Spartan customization, but I'll discuss it later in the weakness part. The last strength Halo Infinite has that I will discuss in the video is the fact that it feels like a genuine Halo game, and it also is the best Halo game in terms of core gameplay, aka gunplay and Spartan abilities. I know this may sound bonkers, but the last two Halo games 343 has released have not been Halo at its core. Halo 5 was copying the advanced movement trend of the mid-2010s, and Halo 4 was copying Call of Duty with its custom loadouts, kill streaks in the form of ordnance drops, and the career ranking system even had its own form of prestige at the end of it. Now, what makes Halo Infinite's gameplay so good is that it takes what Bungie did with Halo 3 and made it way more palatable for player sensibilities in the year 2024. Now, I love Halo CE, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo Reach, but those games are old, and you can feel it in the gameplay. For example, Halo 3 projectiles feel slow, and Halo Infinite has projectiles too, but they took the idea Bungie implemented and improved upon it. To make sure it's clear, I'm not saying Bungie Halo is bad, but Halo Infinite's core gameplay is head and shoulders better design-wise than Halo 3 or any other loved Halo game that Bungie made because it takes what those games did and improved upon the design in the gameplay department. Now that I've talked about the three biggest strengths Halo Infinite has, it's time to talk about Halo Infinite's weaknesses, because the game really does have them. The last point I made for Halo Infinite that was a positive was the core gameplay of it, and it is better than any other game in the series, in my honest opinion. But funny enough, in a sad, ironic way, Halo Infinite has the worst sandbox since Halo CE, aka the first Halo game made back in 2001. Halo Infinite did add some Spartan abilities throughout the game's life, like the translocator, repair field, and shroud screen. That did spice up the game a bit, and it did improve the sandbox a little. But Halo Infinite has no unique vehicles, which is a first for the series. And we haven't gotten a new weapon since they released the DMR in Season 3, which was released a year and 4 months when the game launched. Part of what makes Halo so great is the sandbox and the tools you can use to cause havoc. So it sucks that we don't have classic weapons like the Spartan laser, pump shotgun, or even the SMG. It even sucks how limited the vehicles are. We should have the Falcon, Revenant, Spectre, Goshawk, and some new unique Halo Infinite Banished vehicle. And what's even crazier is that Halo 5, in comparison, may have had, in my opinion, some of the worst gameplay in Halo, but it had one of the most vast and expansive sandboxes out of any game. The next weakness Halo Infinite has is that the live service sucks. The game, for the first year and a half, basically starved us out of content, but now it's the opposite. 343, now dubbed Halo Studios, will shadow drop content with zero advertising whatsoever. Now don't get me wrong, I love getting surprised with new content, but 343 really needs to advertise its content more and get its players more hyped. Part of a live service is to constantly keep players engaged and interested in the game. And one way to do that is by advertising what's next for them to experience. But if you fail to properly advertise like they have been, then it stops keeping players interested in staying on Halo Infinite. The next mess up that they've been doing on this subject for terrible live service is the monthly operations over the 3-month seasons. In my opinion, as someone who has experienced both systems, I prefer to have big content drops to look forward to rather than small content drops constantly like we have now. Because honestly, the game hasn't really felt like it's changed since the Spirit of Fire operation, and that was almost a year ago. Now, I did earlier talk about Spartan customization, and I do get that Halo Infinite is free to play, but I really hate how the cash shop is set up. Game companies should not use the Fortnite monetization system. Instead, if something costs $3 in the store, you should be able to spend $3 to get it. But instead, you have to buy $5 worth of game monopoly money to buy something $4 or less. Lastly, the armor coatings are not inherently a bad idea, but whoever decided to remove custom armor colors and emblems at 343, you are an idiot. And I do understand why they did it. They did it so they could monetize it easier. It's just that you could still monetize the old system and add extra stuff. You didn't need to get rid of player customization to more easily monetize the game. The last weakness that I will talk about with this video is the lack of playlists and game modes in some areas. It is true that PvP has a lot of diversity in it, and especially when you compare Halo Infinite to how it was when it first launched, 343 has now done a good job in that field. But we ain't got nothing in PvE or story content. In Halo 4, they had a thing called Spartan Ops that they updated during the lifespan of Halo 4, and it wasn't perfect, but it was still a good idea. Plus, a lot of people play Halo for the story, so Halo Studios / 343 should keep making story content for the game if they don't plan to release anything soon. The gap between the main titles Halo 5 and Infinite was 6 years, and I fear the gap between Halo Infinite and 7 will be even longer. Also on the PvE side of Halo Infinite, I love Firefight King of the Hill. It is a great way to gain career rank XP, Battle Pass XP, and a good way to finish challenges really fast. But there is a severe lack of any sort of diversity at all. We should have a classic firefight mode, a Warzone firefight mode with all the bosses like in Halo 5, minus the pay to win stuff of course, and add a unique firefight mode with more enemy vehicles in it, since I've only seen one map recently have them, and when I played it, it was really fun and helped add to the game mode. Now that I've laid the strengths and weaknesses of Halo Infinite nearly 3 years post-launch bare, the question still stands, is the game worth playing in the year 2024 or 2025 if you've arrived there yet? Honestly, I enjoy the game as it is now, and even though it is far from perfect, far from the game it should or could have been, I do recommend giving it a try because it is free to play. It literally costs nothing to try, and if you don't like it, then all you did was waste at most like 14-ish minutes if you played a longer game like Firefight. Now, to all those who are scorned by how bad and long it took Halo Infinite to get good, or just by how inept 343 is as a game studio, and refuse to even give Halo Infinite a chance, I just want to say, you are right, and I understand. It is your right to be done with Halo after the way the game launched, and how long it took to actually get game content. But all I can say to you is you have three choices. The first is to move on from Halo, the second is to play Halo MCC or any other Halo title as an alternative to Infinite, and the last is to just suck it up and play Halo Infinite regardless. Whichever choice you decide to choose, it's not wrong, and whatever you decided, I hope gives you the best results and the most fun. You're welcome I made the video. I am the most gracious person since I just gave out all my wisdom for free. And make sure to leave a positive comment because we all know I'm right 100% of the time. So there's no way any of you are going to disagree or not like my opinion. Now,
I'm sorry, sir. It's time for you to leave.